LazerModels. We're going to go ahead and build the train today. I've gone ahead and I've started separating the pieces. As everybody knows, you're going to get a bag full of a lot of pieces. And the train is one of the more difficult ones to look at and go, hey, what do I do with all these parts? So I'm going to tell you what I did, and then that will help you get prepared to this stage, and then come back to the video and we'll go ahead and build the train together. First thing we do is on the directions we've got the caboose, or not the caboose, but the coal car. So what I did is looked at the drawing and go, okay, I need 4 tires, 2 axles, 2 frames, and a base. And so that's these pieces here, the 4 tires, the 2 axles, and then the next step is going to be the 2 sides and the 2 ends. So that gives us all the pieces we need to build the coal car. So I separated that over to here, and then the next step is the caboose. Again, grab all these pieces here that I've already separated. And yeah, it's easier for me than you guys to figure out what's what, but as time comes and goes, you guys will learn more and more how I think and how I do the models and everything, and it becomes easier. But the first thing you're going to look for, again, is basically the same thing we did there. You're going to take a base, 2 frames, 2 axles, 4 tires, okay? And then the next step, you're going to have 2 walls, 1, 2, 2 ends, 1, 2. Then we've got the center pieces in the next step. You're going to have 2 of these. You're going to have 2 of these. 2 of the ones with little scalloped edges on them. These do not have any holes in it, so this one does. Just leave that over there. And then the next step is going to be, oh no, we're still working on this. We have 4 little handrails. We have 2 side windows that go on top, and then we have the wood that does the roof. These 2, as the drawing shows, go there. And then there's 6 pieces that go here. Well, it turns out there's 6 pieces for the roof on the caboose and 6 on the train. And you're not going to be able to tell which one's which. So the ones that work on the caboose are just a little bit shorter. So the short one's here, the long one's over to the engine. So we need 6 of these. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So those go down here like this. And then you've got the center section, which is going to be 6 more of these little ones. So that's all the pieces you need for the caboose. So with that done, take all of this, slide it off to the side. That leaves you everything else for the engine. So as we've done in the past, like size items, you know, rings, axles, stuff that looks basically the same. Once you get that all done, then we can go ahead and get started. So at any point in time when you're finished separating the stuff, come back, restart the video from this point, and let's go ahead and build it. Alright, so I'm going to assume you guys went ahead and did everything, or you already had it done when you came. So we're going to start with the caboose. We got the bottom, 2 axles, or 2 frames, 2 axles, 4 wheels. That's what we're starting with. So we're going to go ahead and glue. Oh, that's a lot of glue. Hang on. It was plugged up a little bit. And always keep, as I've said, some form of paper, whether it's a paper towel or what, it doesn't matter. So those go into the spots on the end there. Just like that. And if you got a round bottle of glue, if you keep it flat or any of your glue flat, it keeps the glue towards the tip. So then go ahead and a little bit of glue in each one of these little spots, the little notches. And then you're going to take the little axles and they go right there. Push those in. And then the wheels go on to the end like this. Here, let me get that up. They go on right here. Okay? So what I do is I have a tendency just to put some glue right in these spots here and just put the wheels on and let that hold it, because it's going to rest right against that board anyways. I do the other two. But keep the glue close to the axle there because you don't want it to be on the outside of the wheel. So there's that. Now if you want and use a little too much glue, things aren't holding together, you can always set that to the side and do the base of the caboose, and then, the caboose. Then come back to the coal car and finish up. But because we don't use a lot of glue and we've been doing it for a while, we know the tricks to it. So here's the sides. There is no front or back, so it doesn't matter which way you do it. So that's going to go onto there like that. So again, a little bit of glue. The next step is going to be putting the two ends on. So a little glue here, and then whatever side's going to go inward. So right here, and then right there. This one's going to do the same thing, but we're going to glue a little different here because there is no tab. We're just going to put a little bit of glue at those spots there. There we go. And then the last piece is going to be this piece. It goes on this way. So a little bit of glue here. A little bit of glue on that tab. A little bit of glue on both of these tabs. You're going to have to lift it up a little bit sometimes. There you go. I hope that tissue wasn't in everybody's way. Any glue that's sticking out, you just go ahead and wipe off like that. So there's the coal car. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go start on to the caboose. We've got everything separated. So we got roof pieces we'll put over here. All of these pieces were together. We have the rails. We have the wheels, which we need right away. Do not need the sides. So again, basically the same thing, just different size and look. So no front, no back. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Now some of these models will have a little more burn on them and stuff than other ones. And so you can go ahead and flip them over if you want different effects and stuff. That's purely up to you. Like you can see on some of these, there's a little more brown on them and stuff. And I'll show you when we get to the engine. Now this piece here does only go in one way. The center piece is off a little bit to make sure these are lined up. So as you saw before, it didn't go in. So I flipped it around. That's why, is because there's a separate notch specifically in the location for that. So there's that. Again, like we did before, a little bit of glue. And like I said before, if you bought it at a location where I was at, I always tell everybody we build the coal car first before we can get the concept of how to build the frame and everything. And then by the time we get to this and then to the engine, we've already done a lot of this. So again, glue around those locations. put a wheel on. Same thing here. And here you can use a fairly decent amount of glue because it's not going to be seen. It dries pretty clear and it's behind the wheel, or it might be in the little axles, but you don't see it because when it's down you really don't see any of that. Okay, and then when you're done, push down it on a little bit and then make sure you got your wheels pushed in. That way you know the axles are all flat. As long as it doesn't rock, you're good. So we've got that done. Now we're going to do the same exact thing we did on the coal car. Is we're going to take one side. Now these are not, let me check, I don't think they matter which side's which. No, they don't. So we're going to go ahead and put this one here. Ends are the same thing. Ends just go in the same way. Now this one's a little more difficult, so you can't really put the end in and slide it. So what we want to do is we want to put the two ends in first and then put the side on. Now make sure you got the etching towards the outside. And on these, if you use a little bit of extra glue, what will end up happening is if we have to lift it up to get a piece in or whatever, it doesn't cause a problem. Okay, so on this one, we're going to put glue on the bottom. We're going to put glue on this tab and this tab here. Lean it forward. Now this one's got to come up a little bit. There you go. Now both of them are in, as they should. And now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this one. And this one here is going to go right in there like that. And again, work with it to get the sides in. They're in. Grab the tissue you had. You're going to need extra glue. Just go ahead and wipe it. There you go. So that's the step 3. Step 4 is going to be putting these pieces in. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put a dab of glue in each one of these center holes. Okay, these pieces go in first. These next two pieces go in next. Okay, let's get the glue wiped off right away. New tissue. And then this one too. Now the reason these go in this direction is when we get ready to put the roof on, the roof's got to have somewhere to rest. So it rests on this little piece right there, and then also across these. Okay, so one of the ones with the scallops, another one with the scallops, and again, quick little wipe. And that's taken care of. Now we also go ahead and we put the little rails in. Now the little rails go into these little holes down here, and they just set like that. So what I do is I'll put glue on the inside piece here, and then I'll put a little bit of glue right there, not all the way down, just a little, and I'll try to put this in as straight as possible, so that way it's not a problem with the glue being smeared around anywhere. So let me see if I can do this for you can see a little better. I'm going to take the piece. We're going to go ahead and set it in like this. And just kind of square it out. That's it. So we'll do that again on this side. Oh, and also make sure you put the glue on the flat edge, not the curved side. Curved side goes up. All right, so that's that step. Let's go to step 5. Step 5 is going to be putting these little windows in. It doesn't matter which one goes where or direction at all. They're identical. So that's going to go right there. I'm going to do one more. Alright, so we've got the body all made and we're ready to put the roof onto it. The first part you want to do is going to be these pieces, these long ones. And you're basically going to put them on and just push them against this here, this edge here. So the little one will go on first and then the big one. And then you want to kind of just line them up with this edge here and right here. And once you get one in, then the rest will go. Also, this is where I break the rule of glue. More glue is better. So, what I'll do is I'll take and put a decent amount of glue on every one of these spots. And the reason why is we want to be able to have the pieces slide for when we put them in place. They're going to stay where we want them. Or if they're off a little bit, we can fix them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start with the small one and then the large one. Now the large one, once we get it lined up on the outside, see, not enough glue. If you've got enough glue, that large one will hang over the edge and not fall off. Okay, so now we've got it lined up to the edge here, and then these, they just set right here. And once these are in place, you can line this up to that edge. So these are all straight now. So let's go put this side on also. And you're not really going to push this anywhere or anything else. You're just resting them on here. Make sure everything's laying flat. And then we've got this one here, which will go there, and this one will go here, and then you can go ahead and slide stuff a little bit if need be, but that's the roof. Okay, we have this roof left. So again, a decent amount of glue, because there's 6 pieces. And you want to kind of get it this way, even. And when you start putting them on, you'll get that, and then across this way. So the best thing to start is, because there's 6, the center of the window. So put one on that side of the center, one on this side. So basically right like that, and then one on that side. And then don't push them down yet. Just tack them down a little bit. And then go ahead and put the other 4 on. Because they'll slide around. And that's okay. That's why we're putting this extra glue on. And I scraped the glue off of that a little bit by accident. So we're going to put a little bit more glue on there. Put this last one on. And then just kind of level it out, push them down, and as we hold it, I had a little bit of glue pop up, and that's it. So this, I showed you the 2 units are basically the same. So now we already got 3 pieces out of the, or 2 pieces out of the 3 made. So we'll set that over here. And then I've got to go ahead and reset these cameras, and I'll be right back and we'll get this going. Alright, we're going to have to remake the engine because the video camera shut off halfway through the last build. So we're back to where we were. We've got the caboose done, we've got the coal car done, engine's all spread out, ready to go. So nothing's been skipped whatsoever. As a matter of fact, on these pieces here, there's two different lengths. You've got short ones and you've got long ones. Should have 6 of each. The 6 short ones we don't need. Those are the ones that go onto the caboose. So I'll throw those into the package and be done with them. Here's the 6 for the engine. Anyway, let me get the timer started for this doesn't happen again. So, let's just get started. We've got to get this piece and these 2 pieces. And so what we do is we take glue there and there and just slide these 2 pieces together. Just like that. And then there's 2 notches. You're going to put glue in the farthest away notch. And then push that in. And same thing here. And then push that in. Then the next step is going to be gluing them to this piece. This faces out, but no 1, 2, 3. That will be important. 1 starts at the window and then 2, 3 clockwise. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of glue around here. Put that there, and if we don't get in trouble, put it on a piece of plastic. If you don't, you might get in trouble. I got paper, I'd glue it to it, but that's alright. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put, we talked about 1, 2, 3. That's these pieces. That's 1. That's 3. This is number 2. And then all the rest of these can just go in whatever order you want. What I'm doing is I'm turning them all up. All of them have this little line on them. And that little line is going to show you where to line up one of these rings later. So for right now, we're going to go ahead and start gluing these in. So if we take a little bit of glue and we put it around this edge here. And then do the same thing up here. And what this is going to do is these pieces are just going to rest onto here. So number 1 goes into the 12 o'clock spot and just rest up against there. Now these have little flat edges on them, so as you're putting these in, it'll help line them up. Number 3. And then we can just start putting these in. At any stage. Now remember, keep this little line out. You see it's going all the way around. I mean, if you flip one around backwards and you don't catch it and stuff, not a big deal. I've done it before on models. The line gets covered anyways. Alright, that's that step. The next step is going to be these two rings. Now these two rings will slide onto here, and they do slide on. You've just got to hold this and work with it. Once you get that one on there, go ahead and put a little bit of glue around the base down here. You don't need a whole lot, just a little, because that's just going to push down and glue to that. Got a little bit of glue there, so let's wipe that off. And then let's get this one started, the same thing. And if we get it right next to that line, we can just put a little bit of about every other one of these, you can put a little bit of glue. You don't want to put too much here because you're just trying to get that piece to look nice. You want to line it up with the ring there. Now that that's done, the next step's going to be, well, we can move the plastic, well, we'll say the plastic. The light, the number 41, and this ring. What we're going to do is, this has etching on it. The 41 goes onto there. So what I'm going to do is, it makes it a little easier. I'll put a little bit of glue here, and then put this onto here. Now glue this piece on. Now the directions I tell you to glue this on first. But in time I have found that this is an easier step. Excuse me. And then on this, just a little bit of glue at the bottom of that light, and then little dots all the way around. And then this piece is going to line up on those circles, but this light, you want to line it up with this center piece. So we're going to go ahead and rotate it some to line it up. I make sure it looks good from the front and top. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Yeah, so you want to look at it like that. Okay. Now that this is glued together, we can set the plastic over here. We don't need it anymore. We just do that to protect the furniture. We don't want mom, dad, or husband, wife getting upset with us. So we respect the property. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start working on the frame. You're going to need the two frame rails, the base. There's three. The kit comes with 4, but you'll only use 3. A lot of times you'll only have 3. We have certain pieces like the axle piece and this that we cut extra of, just in case one of them gets stuck or whatever, because there's certain areas of the laser that we know things stick. And so sometimes you get 3 or you'll get 4. If you get an extra one, just throw it out. And then we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the axles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 axles. The extra one, just toss it over there. So let's get started on this. So we've got 3 of these. Now, on the base, it says this side up. That is not for this step. This side means up, means when we build the train, we want this side up. So flip it over. So this side up is going to face down, just like that. Now these are going to go onto here, just like this. And this front piece digs into the little notch there. Alright? But we got to put these in after we get this in. So what I've found works is there's no glue used on these. So just set them in there. And come over to this side, do the same thing here. Now, there is one other piece. This cow catcher piece, helps if you do it right. Hang on. Okay, this cow catcher piece goes right inside here. So you can put it down, and then you separate these pieces a little bit, and it'll rotate into place. Okay, So a little bit of glue there and there. Bring it down, rotate it, kind of push it forward. Now you've got that and this in place. I can pick this up all day by pinching these together. Even if you pinch them all the way together, it's not going to hurt anything, but it keeps these in place. So what we want to do, put glue onto the rail. A little bit of glue on the top sides of these. Just a little, don't hit a lot. I just pulled that piece out. Okay. Then you flip it over. Start lining it up. This front piece. Yep. Okay. Now that this popped down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and put a little more glue there. That's my fault. And then push it back up and forward. Wipe that little glue off. Now these are going to be the axles going in here. There's 5 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you put the glue on the front side, the glue oozes out. But if you put it on the inside in these tabs, like this, so you're only going halfway. When you get ready to put those in, what ends up happening is the extra glue, if it oozes on the inside of the frame and you don't see it, so it's not important. And once you get one in, they get a little harder because it's pulled it together, and so you've got to get them in there perfectly. There we go. And pull that up and pull it up this way and pull it forward, just like that. So the next step is going to be going ahead and gluing some wheels on. So like we've done before, just a bunch of glue around these here. Do not do this front one. This one takes a single wheel. This one takes a 3. And put that long piece, this piece here, to the top, okay, or to the frame, the base of the train. Same thing here. This rail down towards that. Now the front two have the little ring around them. They're smaller, so you don't want to put as much glue around each axle. That's why we didn't want to glue that one at first. All right, so those are in. We're going to go ahead and flip this way. It sits flat, there's no rocking, so that tells you the axles are in place, the wheels are in the right height and stuff. Now, we go ahead and we make the little stacks for here. These little stacks, let me see, move that out of the way. They take these two little ones here. Now, there's 2 stars, so let's get those over. And the directions will tell you how many of each. 1, 2, blah, blah, blah. So we need 1, 2, 3 with the little square for each one. 3. We need this one to go into the slot. So there's one of them, and you got to find these. There's the other one, I think. Yeah, there's the other one. So that's going to go there. All right. Now we have 2 extras of these. These 2 will come in from the bottom, so we don't glue them on now. Let's just set them over there. And then we have 2 solids that go on top. So that's the setup. So here's the easy thing to do. Is you start with the star and this straight piece. What you're going to do on this piece here is you're going to put just a dot of glue right there on the underside of the, let's call it a T. Okay? This is going to slide in there and set right there. Now, take and put a dot off to the side like we've been on everything else. And then slide it into that slot. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and a little bit of glue on each corner here. And push that down. Same thing again. A little bit of glue on each corner. Slide that down. And one more. So that's this piece. And you probably just heard my wife singing "Baby It's Cold Outside." It's Christmas time and she's in Christmas spirit, having fun with the grandkids and stuff. So if you hear any noise in the background, it's her and the grandkids. Then we're going to glue this one onto here, just like that, onto the top. And then just set it over to the side upside down like that. Let it dry while we build this other one. So, remember how we did this? Dot of glue, side of the T. Dot of glue onto the sides. There. A little bit of glue. This slides on there. A little bit of glue, and seriously, a little bit of glue is really a little bit of glue, because what will end up happening is you put a little dot on there, it will spread out and it will fill in the gaps. If you put too much, it's not a big deal. Matter of fact, there, that's too much. And we'll see what happens. I push down, it oozes out. Remember the tissue paper we have? You can use toilet paper, you can use paper towel, it doesn't matter what you use. But if you take it and you hold it, and then just do a quick wipe. That's it. So now we have this piece to put on. So let's put a little bit of glue onto there. Put it onto there again. Swivel it around. Looks good. Set that down. Let's bring this back over. A little bit of glue. Goes there. If we take and we put a little bit of glue here, and this slides right on the underside, you just kind of push it together, and that's that one. A little bit of glue, and you might want to let this dry for a little bit. I've been gluing so long, I know how much glue to put on something where it dries real fast and stuff, and so by doing that, it really makes it easier for me. But anyway, that finishes step H. Now we're going to go ahead and go to I and J. I and J are the same steps, just one side's here, one side's there, and we do the cow catcher. So, there's little pieces that have 3 little dots on them. There's 2 of these. And let's see what else we need. We need 7 of these. These are our cow catchers. So those all will end up going in the front here. These here end up going on the side. So I'm going to show you on this side first. We're going to slide this in. If you notice the direction it is, we slide it in the little hole here. And remember, we didn't glue these, and there's a reason we did not glue these. Is for we can move them around. Now, see how we stick that in there and it hits down here? So if we push this forward a little more, we can go ahead and put a dot of glue right there, pull this back out, pull it back out, there we go, and then just set that in that spot. Okay? Where these dots are on this top rail, put dots of glue there, and take one of these that have little dots, and all we're doing is we're putting a depth to this. We're giving it a better look by showing the rails being raised off of the train. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Slide that into there. And that's where we want it to go. So we can lift it up. You can lift it up, slide it in, whatever you want to do. Put that there, and then come back and just put that in that spot. A little dot of glue here, here, here. Little dot of glue there. And again, the 3 little pieces there, or little bolt type things. Now this one's a little harder to get in, but you can do it. If you're having a problem, you can always grab something like this and push it in or whatever to, you know, if your fingers can't fit in there and stuff. But anyway, that's how those look. This one, when I dropped it, moved a little bit, so let's slide it down there. There we go. Now we got the front to do. Now if you remember, we pushed this down and pulled it forward. That's because these pieces here are just like that. So they're going to slide in these notches. I'm going to show you in the middle, but we'll start off to the side. So it slides in, flush to the top, and sits underneath. So what we're going to do is we're going to put a dab of glue in each one of these spots, but then down here we're going to put a dab of glue there and a little line back. So you're going to have to wipe. Okay, real quick, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. The cameras are telling me it's time to reset them. So if you notice everything is where it is, it's going to look like that because I'm just going to turn them off and turn them back on. I'll be right back to you. All right, talk to you soon. Okay, cameras have been reset. I have not touched anything. We're going to go ahead and continue. We're going to go ahead and continue putting the little dabs of glue inside the cow catcher, the front. Now you're going to have to wipe glue off of this. There's just no way around it when you're done. So what we're going to do is same thing here, little dabs of glue. But then we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue underneath because this lip here rests on that. So what we're going to do, start right here, put that one in, line it up, the next one, next one. Okay, we're not going to do the middle one. So we start from the other side. Now we'll put the middle one in. The reason we wait till the end is that way we're working inward. So you can push those down, push them back. Got a little bit of glue sticking up on the top. You can just go ahead and dab that real easy to get most of it off. And then if you wipe backwards, and the reason you wipe backwards, because you wipe forward, you'll knock these out. Okay? So everything looks good. Everything's staying in place. Nothing got moved. Oh, one fell out. So that one obviously needed a little more glue. Okay, we're going to let that dry for a second. Let's figure out what we've got next. Okay, that finishes that sheet. Set that off to the side. All right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue one of these pieces onto here. And the way it lines up is this bottom edge will line up with that piece there. So we're just going to put a little bit of glue up here. Get that out of the way. And so we're going to line it up down here and also with the edges. So again, move it around a little bit. You'll feel it start to get a little snug. And that's where you want it, right like that. So we're going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue down here. And this little piece here kind of sits right in here. So a little bit of glue right down underneath. That piece will line up there, and the front will push down to there. And that's it for there. Now we're going to go ahead and turn this back this way. This piece here glues into these. So we're going to put glue in all three spots. So a little bit of glue there, here, and there. Goes into little holes, just push it up against the train. And that's where it's going to set right like that. Next step, we're going to glue these little pieces with the little curves. They go on here, one on each side. That's way too much glue, so we're going to just stick that down real quick and take some of that excess glue and we'll just glue it on this side. And you just want to line them up, make them look good. Same with this one. And again, just line them up where they look good. Excuse me. And then the next step is going to be in. We're going to build the firebox for inside. Now, this piece you want to have facing out. So it's got to go like this. Okay? So if you had this the wrong way, it would go this direction. So that's how you're going to know how it's going to fit. It's just like this. So we're going to take a little bit of glue. Right there. Now this other piece is going to fit in there, so we're just going to glue a little bit of glue on the ends. We're just going to set that there for now. It'll hold itself. This piece here is going to go down and push in. So that goes in there, and we just lean it forward. Now this piece is going to go here and in, so let's get a little bit of glue here. A little bit of glue on the bottom of the piece. Set it right in there like that, and then push it in. So that's our piece right there. And this piece will end up sitting right in here. But we're not going to put it in right now. We're going to just let it set over here and dry. Okay? We're going to be putting the sides on. So this is step O. The two sides, the writing goes to the outside. The long pieces go back. So here's this one. We'll put glue here. And then glue right there. slot and bring it forward. Again, a little bit of glue in the bottom. Glue in the tab. Put it in place and bring it in. Now, before this dries, you want to do this next step, because you're going to want to push this out a little bit, just where it's not really loose, and put a little bit of glue on this top edge. This is the edge right here that goes in. Now you just set it in and push it forward. And then push the sides back in. You don't need a lot of glue on this anywhere else, because it's going to be held together by the glue we built it with. It's going to hold to the front, and realistically, knowing it's going to get in there, because now this piece goes onto the back. So, a little glue in each little notch on the bottom. A little glue on each tab. Line it up, push it forward. So that gets us to that stage. Now the next step, that's P. We have Q. Q is going to be, this piece is going to go on there, this one's going to glue onto it. So again, it's going to line up with the bottom, just like we did here. Okay, there's a little bit of glue. Now once in a while you get a piece with this purple stamp. That purple stamp comes from the manufacturer of the lumber or the plywood, and it's either going to be Russian or Finland, because the wood comes from the Baltics, and that's over in Russia and Finland. It's the only place in the world you can get this wood. It's a great wood. It's beautiful. It just works wonderful. Now what we do is we go ahead and we put the roof on. These slots, just like we did with the caboose, we're going to be putting slots in here. So, glue across that area. And across there. And again, there's 6 of these. So, the center of the window kind of becomes the divider. But if you just go ahead and you put the pieces in evenly, you're going to find out that they hang over just a little bit. And you just push these pieces in like this. And that finishes the roof for the train. Now the only other thing we've got left are these stacks that go onto here. And those are all these little pieces. So let me move these over. We have 2 towards the back, and we have the smokestack that goes in the front. So we have 2 that are the same, and then 1 large one. So let's go ahead. The directions will tell us what we need. First thing we need is to find which ones fit where. So these are the 3 large ones, which will go on to here. So that's those. And then this takes 6 small ones. There are 6 small ones. These take 2 small, 3 large, 3 large. So let's go ahead and start with the little ones. We'll go work from front to back. You can just set this one on because we're gluing a lot of stuff on it. Now this one has part of that little purple stamp, so just flip it over and put it down. The little stamp will never be on the front of the piece. It'll always be on the back side, so whatever it has it on, you can just put it onto the back and it's not a big deal. Now, on the train, this piece is flat and these curve down, so these circles are too big. So all we're going to do is put glue the length of the piece of wood that goes in there. So that'll go in there and that'll glue right there. So let's get this other one done. I find the train to be one of the funner models to build because it's got a little bit of a challenge as you progress. Again, glue on the ends and just set that in place. Now we've got the stack here. Again, this one's got some ink on it, so we put that down. Now these next ones, these little ones, you can't put enough or a small enough amount of ink or glue to hold these in place. So you're just going to have to accept the fact you're going to have to wipe them off when you're done. That's 3 of them. We got 3 more to go. So you can already see the glue's oozing out on me. Now if you guys are using the Q-tip method with dabs, you're probably more neater. You're probably a lot neater than I am at this point in time. Because you're able to control how much glue you're going to put out. Alright, got a lot of glue. We'll just wipe it off. Now this one pretty much covers that whole wood, so you can put glue on each side of this and that will go ahead and glue down. So anyways, that does finish the train. So you've got the engine, the coal car, and a caboose. Well, here's the thing. We got this pile of parts still. What these are the little connectors. So if you put a little bit of glue on the top edge, slide a little T through. Again, same thing here. Just on the top edge. Because you don't want the glue underneath. Okay? Then you can go ahead and set it in. And then just set it to there. Now if you want to glue one onto the train or whatever and make it a little easier to put on and off, we don't use them at the show because when people start moving them they fall off and everything. They pick them up and look at them. But if you're going to display it and just have it setting on a mantle or a shelf somewhere, go ahead and put them on. They look nice. At that point in time, I wouldn't glue it onto both pieces because like we have a Christmas sled. Push through. We have a Christmas sled or a flat car with a Christmas sled on it with Merry Christmas on the side. At some point in time, we'll be adding more cars to it. Want to put a little tanker and stuff. So there are ideas we've got for future use. So anyways, hey guys, thank you. I do appreciate you spending time with me as we build this. Sorry for the technical problems with the camera. We're going to be working on getting new cameras to avoid that. But we've got you done here, and have a great day, and we look forward to working with you again. Thank you.